Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Radio Free Wall Street. Today we're going to talk about weapons of mass destruction being unleashed on America. You didn't hear about that? You mean they didn't tell you about China's secret weapons? Oh, no. You don't know? See, China started a trade war that the United States says that they started. But China says, no, we really started the trade war, and that's because we are superior to America. You didn't know that? For many years, China has been growing in their sophistication. And China understood that America, being the old, stodgy world empire with leaders who were, should we say, corrupted, out of touch, was very powerful. And China has watched Donald Trump in his trade wars growing and growing and growing, and they've been very patient. But China has a secret weapon of mass destruction that any time it wants can unleash on America. And what's happened is China has the ability to destroy the U.S. economy. And China has the ability to make things so miserable for us that it could affect our military preparedness. Let me tell you what the secret China weapon of mass destruction is. And that is things that China very carefully became the only source of supply on. And there is no one else to supply it. There's no factories capable of making it. For example, did you know that most microwaves in the world are made in China? Well, it's a microwave, so you can't pop your popcorn and heat up your TV dinner. But did you understand that microwave parts that are used in medical, used in weapon systems, also come from China? Yeah, it's amazing they didn't tell you. Did you know that many chips, many connectors, simple connectors, and parts that are used for military and defense applications are only sourced from China, and we do not have a stockpile in the United States of America. It is amazing the list of goods, chemicals, specialty parts that only China makes, and there is no U.S. counterpart. I build laser and thermal cameras, okay? It's a hobby thing I did for ourselves because I couldn't get what I wanted. And we came up with a couple of projects that other people were interested in. It has a 25-pin military spec connector at the base of the camera to connect the laser, the infrared, the measuring equipment, the thermal, the video output, the regular camera output. And there's one connector is only made in China. And there's no U.S. manufacturer. There is no comparable part. Now, it really sounds stupid, but all the cables are built to this connector. All of the runs inside the camera, and there are a lot of wires connect to it. And only China can source and supply it. And that's true of many thermal imaging devices and many sub-assemblies that go into a lot of products, like a lot of lenses involved in cameras on smartphones. China's the only manufacturer. A lot of diodes that are used, listen to this, the diodes that are used for fiber optic cables, well, they use different frequency laser diodes to push the signal down the fiber optic bundles, okay? There's about 6 common bandwidths that are there. Do you know that most of these laser diodes are only made in China, only, okay? I use laser diodes in some of my work on my research, okay? And the higher frequency ones are invisible to the naked eye, and so they're very handy for security cameras and those kind of things. The high wattage laser diodes only come from China, nowhere else. There's no other factories capable of making them in the entire planet. So we are into this world where there is a lot of things that are exclusively made in China, that become part of the supply chain that China's quietly mentioning that they may just embargo the United States of America. And it's kind of amazing that most people associate China with plastic tennis shoes and a lot of clothing and that kind of thing. But a lot of people don't understand that that China has an exclusive, and very carefully so, by the way, very exclusive lock on things that most people don't know about. A lot of chemicals that go into the supply chain are only available in China. What has happened? A lot of the chemicals are really nasty, little bits of monsters. Okay, and so U.S. manufacturers were glad to get rid of that EPA red light zone hazardous stuff. And what's happened is people are not understanding that China was very careful in making itself the exclusive supplier of things. And in many cases, the Chinese actually put other people out of business that were competing. And the situation you got is that a lot of exclusive raw materials that are involved in, especially this rare earth stuff, they may be common around the world, but only China has the refineries to produce it, okay? And people are not understanding that China makes many components for the F-35 fighter jet. And, the B-18 bomber and Lockheed Martin's F-16 all involve components of titanium that's mined in China and all kinds of missile equipment. And let me tell you something. It is one of the deep, dark secrets that no one wants to talk about because it's not supposed to be that way. Years ago, the Pentagon required its suppliers to make sure that they weren't sourcing exclusively from China. But it's often the case in a great big bureaucracy and payola and this and mano de mano and the way things work that foreign suppliers, especially China, have got us by the balls. And what's happened is the situation grows because many waivers were also issued. And what's going on is that we are now hopelessly and totally defended on things like high-performance magnets, which are used in radar systems, and a lot of lenses, a lot of video sensors, especially involved with thermal, which is critical. You know when you see those pictures of those bombs going off and the guys running from the truck and the bomb goes up and they all vaporize? Well, those are thermal images, and those thermal cameras are very sophisticated, and the imaging board and the material that makes it up is very special stuff. China. No, not Detroit. Not make America great in a coal mine. My God, no. Billy Bob didn't make it a coal mine. Billy Bob, can you help me with these small nanometer sections we need for solid state manufacturing? Oh, no, you don't know what the hell that is. Well, we'll go dig that coal. So we're going to make America great in coal because Donald Trump commanded it. And the deal is that Donald Trump doesn't even know about it, okay? Neominate magnets, I use them in some of my applications, okay, are very important. Also, stuff that works at very high temperatures, a lot of ceramic material. China is the only known supplier in the world. And you want to hear something great? You want to make America great again? You can open up a steamboat. So as Donald Trump is jerking you off about how, well, it's really important BMWs don't come in here as a matter of national defense. You heard that bullshit, right? That's the criteria he's using. Yeah, national defense. National security is that because Canada makes aluminum that we can sanction them. But the real issue are some of these incredibly complex components that are very special materials, especially rare earth stuff, that only China makes. We don't even have the ability. If we want to get into the business, it would take years, okay? And you actually, listen carefully, you listen to me. In a $25 million radar system, okay, well, that focusing is done with very special high-powered magnets that without it, it's a piece of shit. It don't work. And what's happened is, although China never got the specifications, they were key components. Okay? It's a $2 magnet. And I can tell you that using those neodymium magnets, they are incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. And it's something very, very special, okay? Thermal sensors, a lot of them that I use, okay, only come from China. I mean, I would play with these things. It's just things I like, okay? So what people are not telling you is that a lot of the imports of these materials, they are not in the supply chain. They are not on the shelf in big boxes, okay? They aren't in warehouses to protect ourselves because they're little itsy-bitsy, highly specialized things. Remember, I've been screaming, supply chain, supply chain, supply chain. Don't let Trump... See, Donald Trump's idea of a supply chain is whether Stormy can get her double D bras, okay? That's a supply chain. Or how tight he can make Melania's dress so she can see her ass, okay? That's a supply chain of Donald Trump. But these components that go in there, he doesn't even know what they are, okay? If it's not gold leaf, and not on the toilet, it is not something that's in his realm of experience. And Donald Trump's not one to read anything because he doesn't like to read. And he's not one to investigate anything because Donald Trump knows everything. So he's now started a trade war, and, the Chinese are going, hello, hi, we got a list of components that we may just not ship you. And that means that the F-35 production will stop. Many parts that are involved in these fantastic fan jet engines, okay? These high-temperature components, little shitting things like seals and O-rings and stuff, the only place it comes is from China. And what's happening is like the radar and the electronically scanned array for the F-35, it has parts that are only coming from our dear friends, the Chinese, who love you, baby. So we're moving into an area where now, as this trade war grows and gets uglier and nastier, okay, is parts that involve titanium produced in, see this place called China. See, that's a C-A, no, not, by God, red-blooded American titanium, boy. No, we do coal. That guy does coal. Yeah, that factory. No, he's slapping on the left shock absorber. The titanium parts, the high-temperature rings and seals. I mean, I can tell you that, the burner can seal, if you don't have the right seal, the plane don't fly, okay? And I can tell you that they're really specialized parts, color-coded and all that. And they come from China. So, I guess you didn't know that. China has exclusive franchise that are produced only in China. Yeah. You think about that. A lot of the rockets that fly, a lot of the laser-guided systems are only made in this little place called China. They didn't tell you that? Sweet tits, come over here. Why, can you give me the analysis on the implications of supply chain parts that only come from China that we are now involving in a trade war? Yeah. Give us your analysis on that, honey bunny. Oh, you can't because you're in makeup session. I understand. Sweet guy, will you slick back here? Mr. Good Looking. Hey, buddy, yeah, you. Oh, that suntan looks good. Can you tell me about the raw materials that are involved in the B-1 bombers? Oh, you don't know about that. You didn't read it on your teleprompter? Uh-oh. No one told you about it? It's not part of the narrative. I understand. Okay, I understand. It's not what Goldman Sachs and the guys that own your broadcast want you to say. Because it would scare people that trade war might be something more serious, and it might involve shutting down U.S. military equipment. Okay, you didn't know about that? Yeah, so China is a large supplier of very, very special materials. In fact, the materials don't even say made in China. I mean, remember I told you about these long supply chains of sources that I mean, that F-35, by God, it's a red-blooded American airplane. It's made right here in the USA, by God, by red-blooded Americans that got security clearance. And by God, they love America. Every one of them kisses the flag. Every one of them stands at attention because yeah, but that Chinese Chungking guy, he makes that part. He don't give a shit about you or your flag. He don't give a shit about America. He's beholden to the Chinese Communist Party, and they want us dead. And reality is that the suppliers, listen to this, you're going to hear this. I know you don't want to hear this. But they lie. Yeah, U.S. manufacturers lie about the Chinese components and parts and don't apply for the waivers because we are a bloated military. And Donald Trump said, hell, you don't need to worry about that. Do whatever you want because Donald Trump says he's the boys. Come on up here and take a bow. Yeah, these are the guys that make the great Boeing aircraft. Think about it, yes. They're the ones that make America great again. Uh-oh. No one knows about their logistical support systems. No one knows that the Internet runs on Chinese exclusive parts. Did you know that your cell phone and the touch screen has parts in it that can only be sourced from China? They didn't tell you that? I guess they forgot, because I'm sure that Mr. Slick Willie down there, I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and because I'm such a great trader, I got this TV job now. Yeah, I am analysis, right? I'm a cool dude. So anyway, you got the strategic interests of America that are being supplied by China. And China has let it known in some confidential reports that they may just not be able to supply a lot of these key parts. You know that many chips, you've seen all the boards with these surface mount technology. Beautiful stuff, right? Amazing. Well, did you know that a lot of the main chips are made in U.S. factories in China? And a lot of the chipsets that are custom made are custom made in where? Hello, where? Why, Chinese factory. Oh, do you think the Chinese would possibly use an event of war, interrupting the supply chain of military equipment? Nah, not the Chinese. They love you. I'm sure we could go to Putin. Putin would help us out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you didn't know about all that, no? So when we talk about America the Great and how Donald Trump's got your back, oh, you didn't know about that? Uh-oh. You didn't know about the fact that China is an exclusive supplier of technologies that when you push the button on the airplane, it won't fly? You want to hear something? There are many agreements in the Kevlar and ceramic life vests. You know, you've seen them when you take a bullet and the guy lives. They come from China. Yeah, you didn't know that. I don't know why they forgot to tell you that. Do you think they knew? So we have exclusive suppliers of parts of our missile systems, of parts of our automobiles, of parts that make up a lot of your everyday life that only come from China. And it's a deep, dark secret. And no one wants to tell you about how China is becoming a leading supplier of a lot of parts that no one else has, parts and plants that would take years to gear up. But now we're going to be great in steel again. By God, Donald Trump, we're going to have that steel mill. Oh, Donald. And coal? Mm-hmm. So if we can fly that F-35, crunch up the coal, I know, Donald's got a plan. See, he knows this in the great mind trust of Donald Trump. He understands this threat, and we're going to fly our jets on coal. And America's great in coal, as you know. And, yeah, instead of using silicone and Kevlar and all that fancy-dancy stuff, okay, many of the chemicals involved, by the way, in Kevlar manufacturing only come from China. Well, Donald Trump's okay because we're going to make them out of steel. Good old American USA steel. And we'll show these people. So we are now involved in a major trade war. Donald Trump's pissing off everyone everywhere about everything. Great man, Donald Trump. Keep up the good work, buddy. Yeah. Go there and kick their asses. You show them. But a lot of material that goes into single things like the pack of charges that shoot out of our cannons and artillery pieces, China. A lot of the very special steels that have to do work in a high-stress environment, well, you can get it from China if they'll ship it to you. And if not, we don't have a secondary source of supply. They didn't tell you that? Yeah. Chinese said, no, 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 no. And by the way, I can tell you for a fact that the Chinese did an audit, some special EEPROM chips and ultraviolet memory stuff, you cure and all that. Many special antennas, special sensors, little shit and things, okay? It's not the big kahuna stuff, but it's little stuff that you just wouldn't think of, that, like, with these high-pressure water pumps. And all kinds of these things that you would never think of being matter. And now, all of a sudden, China's going, maybe it's time to teach America a real lesson. Maybe it's time to say, hello, America, lights out USA kind of thing. Do you know that many of the transformers that are involved in the grid, insulators, a lot of the special insulated switching devices, okay, that use a rare earth gas so they don't short over, well, they come from China. And it gets uglier and uglier because money people, like in the Pentagon and positions of authority, see, they don't read the small print. And the guys that do, they're kind of laughed at, kind of like, oh, what do you know? So now what's happening is China is a key supplier for many key military technologies, and they're those consumables, right? There's the little shit stuff, okay? Special high-temperature lubricants, special Teflon agents, special curing chemicals, things that you would be obscure, like, you get the can on the back shelf there in the flame-proof locker, the guy picks it up and goes, we don't have any more. We'll go to more. Well, the supplier says it comes from China, and we can't get it. And the whole plant shuts down, okay? Everything is dead. Nothing leaves. Nothing moves. Engines don't start. Ships don't sail. Planes don't fly. Rockets don't launch. Cell towers come crashing down. Fiber optic systems don't work. Yeah, from China. So I hope we don't get to the point where we ended up in a situation where China decides if you can toast your popcorn in a microwave. If China decides whether we can launch a missile. China decides if your touchscreen on your cell phone works. A lot of these incredible materials that are the age around us and little cheap stuff, okay? Components inside of components inside of components, like equipment inside your digital camera, China. Lenses and filters and just little cogs and wheels and stuff. I can tell you, and the little stuff I do as part of being the Renaissance man, I can't source a U.S. supplier anymore. When I source a U.S. supplier, they're sourcing their Chinese supplier. Little obscure things that are parts of a part of a part inside of a part, okay? But it's that little thing that, like, the whole damn thing shuts down. It don't work. And you can't subsidize it. In other words, there isn't a substitute, and it's so critical, if you try doing it with a substandard part, it literally flies apart and blows up in your face. Chemicals and coatings and fillers. ceramics and lenses and wires and loops and sensors, all kinds of just obscure little parts that are a matter of a few dollars, only come from China. And there is no supplier, and things don't work without it. So, yes, Donald Trump is making America great again. Do you feel great? I feel so great I can't stand it. Donald, thank you, Donald. We are so great again. And coal? Boy, that coal is really great. Steel? Oh, man, wow, steel. Steel is great again. Aluminum is great again. I understand that soybeans are about to become so great again, they're going to back up in the silos and rot away. Yeah, we're going to be great again in soybean. And pigs? Oink, oink, oink. Remember Porky the Pig? This little piggy went to market. Little piggy went wee-wee all the way home. Well, little piggy didn't go to market anymore because we're going to become great again. Donald, you are so freaking clever. What a Einstein. Donald, you're going to show them who kicks ass. He's got NATO. He's at NATO. You got to come up with 4%. You got to go, we ain't doing that shit. Donald, no. And Donald goes, okay, I'm going to go talk to Putin. Putin said, yeah, we'll make America great again. So Donald Trump is now going to go bow down to Putin, videotapes and all, while he's literally been an embarrassment and shitted on our allies. So I feel so great again, I can't stand it. And all I can tell you is that in the last 6 months, I've made sure that stuff I need out of China comes in here in piles. And I stocked up on my laser diodes because they're hard to get. By the way, some of them, the high-powered ones, only China makes them. I mess around with coated fiber, okay? And my coated glass fiber stuff, I've played with lasers since I was 9 years old, okay? 9 years old. And I got these scars on my hands and damage to my eyes to prove it. Anyway, when you're a kid, you use stupid things. And I can tell you that there's been no assessment by anybody with a brain, especially with Donald Trump around, that includes a study of what parts are coming from China and not, and what China can slow. Yeah, you're not going to embargo, no. Oh, I'm sorry, you need that high-frequency laser diode? Oh, that 35-watt variety? Oh, man, I'm sorry. We're out. But we're going to go into manufacturing, so we'll call you because we love America and you're great again. About this trade deal, maybe we can figure something out. And let me tell you, China is going to play America's suppliers like Raytheon and Boeing and Raytheon and a whole lot of companies like a fine Stradivarius. And then go sit down and go, oh, Donald, we got a problem. Donald go, nah. No, use a coal, get the coal mine and, use coal in there and you get that steel in there and make American factories again because we're making cars. So supply chains are complicated animals, and a point of origin means nothing in this day and age, okay? Nothing. So it may say made in the USA, but it ain't. And it may say the great F-35, which is a fantastic piece of equipment, but I would say 20% of the parts in that thing are China source. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In Kevlar? You don't make it without Chinese suppliers. Didn't know that. Amazing what they forgot to tell you. Again and again and again.